When would this take effect?
I'll get a training done in possibly July.
Training to do in July order is coming. Made and seconded. Any more discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
All opposed, nay. No discussion items. Mark, have anything?
No, nothing right now.
John?
No.
I have nothing at this point. Treasurer?
No, sir.
Clerk?
Cemetery cleanup for the spring was completed Saturday. And we'll get the water turned on soon.
There's one thing, just a reminder that the cleanup, spring cleanup is,
Really? Second Saturday in May.
second Saturday.
I don't have anything, roads are rough, got some washouts. Got a problem over on Trenton, county's got it fixed. Additional public comments, 2 minutes per person. Yes, sir. Representative Fox.
Yes. And I'll let you pass those down. So, good evening, and sorry I was a little bit late. I had a 6-year-old birthday party, and then I had 2 signs to deliver up by Howard City. So, anyway, my name is Joseph Fox, and I'm running for the 33rd Senate District. I hail from Fremont, and I really have learned to appreciate data centers from attending your Frost Creek meeting here about a month or so ago. And I've been doing a lot of studying on it, so thank you for getting that out front. Long story short, when you think of the name Fox, please think of the letter F, and I'm Fox, fighting for faith, family, and freedom. I'm a person of faith. I, for 60 years, have followed Jesus. I don't hesitate to pray, whether it be on the floor of the house or whether it be in an individual situation. I'm also a pastor and a missionary. I spent 25 years in Christian education as a teacher and as an administrator. So please think faith, think family, and you can continue with the letter F. I've been married over 40 years, which is not necessarily normal for a lot of political type people. I have 4 children and 14 grandchildren. Johannes Samuel was just born about a week and a half ago now, and I just held him at the birthday party, so he's number 14. I also serve on the Families and Veterans Committee with, and there get a chance to keep track of what's going on with families in the state. I'm in my 4th year in the House, and I currently represent the 101st District, which is Newaygo County, Lake County, Wexford County, in that direction. So also please, when you think of Fox, think freedom. And in relation to freedom, I am very much interested in what goes on in elections. I am very strongly interested in what you guys have wrestling with here with data centers. I really got involved with our solar in our Garfield Township over close to us where we live in Newaygo County. And I think that we have been given freedoms by God, and we have to make sure that we're exercising and taking advantage of those freedoms. So I brought along with me a map tonight. If anybody wants to see it afterwards, I'll bring it. It shows you where the 33rd District is. But I won't take the time to explain it right now. Finally, this is my final F. I serve on the Election Integrity Committee, and I'm strongly fighting for having election integrity. And I probably could swap stories with you, Dorothy, about what we've had go on in our committee and how we relate to the Secretary of State. We have her in court right now. So, long story short, fighting for election integrity. I'm into constitutional carry. I've just sponsored some bills for that in relation to our guns, and thus a Second Amendment person. So, I think I started to say finally. Finally, I'll say it one more time, finally. When you think of the letter F, think Fox. And I really want to say clearly, I'm not a politician. And please don't confuse me with one. Politicians are very concerned about getting your vote. They're very concerned about the next election. Whereas patriots, servant leaders, are very concerned about the next generation. So my Bible passage for this campaign is Psalm 71:18. And it says, even when I'm old and gray, do not forsake me, O God, till I declare your power. To whom? To the next generation. Your might to all who are to come. We're in the fight for the next generation, not simply for votes, not simply for prestige, not simply for money. It's the Lord that we need to glorify in all that we do. So I'll be happy to talk to people afterwards, and I'll make sure that I make my cards available to everybody.
Thank you, sir.
Yep, thank you.
Appreciate it. Appreciate what you got going. Good luck.
Yeah, thank you.
Any additional public comment?
Hi, Rebecca Smallwood. I'm a resident of Solon Township. I'm not going to pester you about the data center tonight, so don't stress. I did.
Another day in paradise.
I did want to ask if there was any movement on live streaming these meetings, because, you know, there is concern about perhaps the number of people that are going to show up for the planning commission. This is only 120 seats. We've been pushing that when we were over at Frost Creek. And, you know, if you're not going to be able to get us to another venue, then perhaps the solution would be live streaming this so that people don't have to show up in person.
We're set up for Cross Creek for the next 3 months for the planning commission.
Oh, okay, we were told that that was not.
They went away for a few days, but
Okay, well then my next question would be, can we start having video recordings that are posted of the meetings? I mean, we've got 2 different people here who are having to record from the community. That's a hassle on us. And having gone to other community meetings, other township meetings, they were able to create videos and provide them to the public. Is that something we can get some movement on here?
well, you can't for me because I don't know anything about it.
Okay. All right, well, I just noticed that in the agenda that you just were talking about paying for IT. I don't know if that's anything that would be relevant to this, but if you have IT on staff, surely that's something they could.
It's up contract for us. That's its contract to keep everything going for the year.
Okay, all right, thanks.
Costs nothing to have a YouTube channel.
What's that?
Costs nothing to have a YouTube channel. So if they have people that have videos, you can ask them to load it up for you, or they deliver it to you, you can load it up for free.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Anything else?
Hi, I'm Cindy Patton. I've been before you before, so thank you so much again for all that you're doing. I have a quick question. It's kind of related to the data center, and I'm not sure exactly who to address it to. But if township gives some tax breaks to a building, how does that then work? Like, if they get tax breaks, then is there somebody who can map out for me exactly how all this tax stuff comes down the pipe? Because for me, it feels like if these data centers are kind of a short-lived venture, that at the end of this tax break, then we might get some money, but then we still are citizens living in the area. If our housing prices go down, aren't our tax values gonna go down with them? So then after this project is finished and depleted and sitting quiet or empty or vacant, wouldn't then our pretty, really low in tax value, given isn't property value and tax. Can somebody perhaps sit down with me and explain how long-term this could affect us tax-wise, and who gets the breaks up front, and how that looks with the money passing?
Sure. I'm
Okay.
glad to.
So who should I talk to about that?
You come and talk to me.
Okay, so you would outline for me then how, like if a corporation, let's not even say a data center, just somebody gets tax breaks for a certain
Oh,
amount.
we'll just assume, first of all, they're gonna get a tax break to come here.
Okay. So then you would project then also for me then how a housing, if a housing, area and the market values of everybody sort of declines, then wouldn't your wouldn't our tax revenue then be declining then, eventually as well, if we were looking, like, let's say 20 years down the road?
Yeah, that's all that took place.
Okay, all right, thank you.
The taxable value is based on what people will pay to come here to live.
Perfect, okay, thank you very much.
55 years, they haven't paid any less to come here to live.
Thank you.
But stop into my office, give me a call, or we set a time tonight, if you wanna have it.
That'd be great, thank you, I appreciate it.
Anything else? Yes, ma'am.
Sarah Biggins, I'd just like to make a suggestion. Can we start having at meetings, possibly especially the planning commission meeting, could we start by explaining what exclusionary zoning is? I think some of the disgruntlement is because some folks don't actually understand that all of this is tied to Michigan's Zoning Enabling Act of 2006, so it's been around for quite a while. I think a lot of folks just don't understand what that is, and they don't understand that that dictates what you can do and also what we can do. So we can't vote against it because that's exclusionary, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think if we could just start meetings like giving people that information from the get, then people aren't so jumping to conclusions. If we could just tell them like, this comes from the state.
When something brand new comes along, that's what people do, jump to
Right.
conclusions and fly off the handle.
So that's just my suggestion.
But we could do something like that. We'll try.
Okay, I mean, I'm even willing to do it myself, but I don't wanna, to give a little history, but of course I wanna ask you first.
I'd like to talk to you about that.
Okay, I love that. Thank you.
Anybody else?
I'm John Nix, resident here in Solon. This thing with Russ, I want to address it to you guys personally. His comments were, in my opinion, ridiculous. He does work for the people of Solon Township. What I do not understand is why I received an apology personally from Ross at the direction of you guys, and he did not give an apology to the people. I'm totally confused.
You're welcome to read it.
No, I'm gonna post it, I'm gonna let everybody read it.
Done deal.
What I would like to ask is why in the email, PA 233 has not been addressed. I emailed you guys 42 days ago. Ross obviously knows about it. You guys know about it. Why has it not come to the people? Are we for stopping solar fields and renewable energy?
Our attorney said that may not prevent anything from happening. Entering into a lawsuit might be more aggravation than could be worth it. That wasn't exact words.
So can we get a public statement or anything like that? To me, that's neglect. You guys aren't talking to us and asking. I mean, why even write emails if I'm gonna get nothing back? I mean, we already sit up here, the NDA gives us nothing. Now emails are giving us nothing. We have to FOIA stuff. It's just, it doesn't look very good for you guys. None of you. It really doesn't. I mean, it's a lot of neglect, and in my opinion, it's dereliction of duty. You guys have a duty to speak to the people. You took
We
an
have.
oath. You took an oath, you need
We
to
have.
produce.
We're gonna have a meeting,
We're gonna have a meeting? When?
we're having it right now.
About what?
We're having a board meeting.
Okay.
You got more public comment?
Nope, that's it. I'm just curious why you guys don't, you keep,
Thank you.
you're not producing.
Okay, I got a couple things here. For the life of me, I will never understand any of this junk. But we all know the detrimental outcome environmentally these data centers have, right? You can't dispute that. I have not heard why you would even consider doing that to your neighborhood. You've not told us one good point, one reason you're even second thinking this, because I've heard of maybe one or two people here saying, yeah, let's do it. They don't pay taxes though. They're not risking their hind end losing that because of your data center, because our property values will tank. And I don't understand it. You've not explained to us why you're even considering this. And I think we deserve to know. I got some pretty good tax money going into this township. And everybody else here does too. So I think we deserve to understand why you're considering throwing us under the bus like that. And that's what this is. Are there perks? Is it going to benefit us in the long run? No. So why are you thinking about it? No one has said that. You all sit here and take these questions and, listen and make notes, but there's been no reply. And it's been a while. Point number 2. You made maybe a year and a half, I read, moratorium for stable homes, condominiums. Why is it only 6 months for something like this? This is important, if not to you, to me, and I think most folks here.
Yep.
So why isn't a year moratorium on the table? That seems a whole lot more fair. We could get some good information. You could explain to us why you think this is a good idea, because nobody's done that. Have you? Did I miss it? I've been coming to meetings. I've not heard anything like that. I read everything, not heard a word. So the transparency, it's not there. For some reason, you want to do this. Don't know why, but we'll keep paying our taxes. And you'll keep it under wraps. I don't know what that's about. I just think there's a lot of hokey pokey going on, and we're not being informed of what's coming our way and why you're trying to shove it down our throats. Because I don't think anybody likes it. Nobody. This is rural. This is the food we eat. This is the water we drink. This is where we want our grandkids and kids to be raised. Not in a poison wasteland, which is what they leave behind. And you can't debate that. That's a fact. The 5 years of building this monster are environmental nightmares. And now that people have lived them in different communities, it's mind-blowing to me that this is even being considered here. What are the benefits? Why would you even consider that unless you've got some kind of big money thing going on that you're waiting till Christmas to tell us? I don't know. But transparency is pretty important when you're talking about all these people paying their taxes, paying you, paying for all of this, and we're not informed. You know they're deadly. They are. You can't dispute that. You might have some good jobs when you're building it, but then they're gonna fly in the experts to run it, and you know it. Gas station Joe's not gonna have a good paying job when push comes to shove. So I guess just please, when I'm asked a question from someone in the township, I honestly answer. That's what we expect from you, an honest answer explaining to us why you would even consider this malarkey. Thank you.
Anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
Can I get 2 more minutes? So I have actually I'm not there yet. You can hear me. I actually have a statement that I wrote about exclusionary zoning already to explain it. Would you be willing to let me read that?
Why don't you let me read that?
Was that okay?
Speak up so we hear you.
You hear me?
So, did you hear me? I couldn't hear you fine.
Teenagers, I can talk.
Michigan's Zoning and Enabling Act established July 1st, 2006 as a law that says local governments cannot enact exclusionary zoning. Answer your question. For any land use, if there is a demonstrated need in the local region or state, and if it is a valid and lawful use under state guidelines. That should answer a lot of questions for you. There's no perks here for anybody that sits at this table. It's nothing but grief for anybody that sits at this table.
So can't we say no?
You can't just tell them they can't come. An application has not been made. All we're doing is working on, or the planning commission is working on an ordinance. That's.
Somebody want to put a youth bar in here, we probably could.
So,
Hey,
Just saying.
sorry, that's the other half.
No,
So, that means that if a data center fits those zoning requirements, you can't just say no. It's not that you just can't say no, we can't just say no either.
right.
Even if we take it to a vote and we vote no, our township can be sued, which is
Well, they will
exactly
be.
what happened to Saline. And then they would sue us until we're bankrupt and they would push it through. So what we can work together is to make sure that we have a really strong enforceable zoning ordinance with strong consequences and steep penalties up to and including shutdown. And that ordinance will show that our community will not tolerate corporate bullying. That's what we can do together. Thanks for
And-
the ordinance.
In that big scope of things, the planning commission can set escrow accounts for whoever applies, if anyone applies, who knows? But they can set escrow accounts up here at the township, will take code enforcement for instance. The planning commission can say, we're gonna have an escrow account set up at Solon Township for $100,000. And every time Ron goes down there to do code enforcement, we pull out of their money, out of this end, and they put it back into the other end. I mean, this is not my first rodeo. It's, I can explain this stuff till I'm blue in the face, but I think a number of people will never understand.
You have a lot of experience and a lot of us are new to this.
I
So I think
understand.
that explaining that part helps. It's the way the state law works that we can't just say no.
The state's giving them all their sales tax off.
Till
Why wouldn't they
150.
come? They made 6% instantly. They only can make another 6 and they're golden. And they haven't done any tax breaks from Solon Township. That's up to the governor, the planning commission and the board. I don't see why we would give them a tax break. I live here, you talk about paying taxes. I paid taxes here for 53 years. I ain't never got a tax break. My taxes don't go down. My first tax bill in this township was $75 for the whole year. It ain't never went down. My first electric bill in Solon Township was $7. Guess what? It ain't never went down. It ain't never going down. I just got my electric bill today, it was $128 and change. So, there's some things that people need to get real about. One of them is, there's a few things in our lives that are not ever going down, never have went down. They're not gonna go down when the data center comes or not. I don't know that they would go up more, but they certainly ain't going down. You wanna listen to what I got to say, or you wanna yak back there?
Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Wiggins, I'm shy.
Hold on.
I know. Yes, sir.
Dwayne Gregor, 1651 17 Mile Road. I think I had this discussion with you guys a while back. This exclusionary zone issue that this young woman brought up would have solved, I think would have opened up doors or eyes of a lot of people had that been shared by the planning committee day one.
You know how many times I've shared that?
Day
with
one, the planning
everybody
committee,
under
to the
the
best of
sun?
my knowledge, has never shared the exclusionary zone issue with these people.
Yes.
Now, if they have, I'm mistaken. What I am here to let you guys know is if you've had any conversation with Algoma Township, you're going to find that they are placing their area for data centers exactly at 16 Mile Road where that farm is today. So they've done the same thing. So I'm not saying this is good or bad, I'm just saying Algoma Township's already decided if a data center is coming into their township, they're going to place it right next to the Moore property.
16 miles east of Algoma.
It's just information for you all to work with.
Yeah.
wanna fight the data center, it's gotta be done at a state level, is that correct?
If you wanna make a real difference, I would think,
Because more or less, you're powerless from keeping it up.
not totally powerless, we can't prevent it in zoning. We have to have a place for it, just like we have a place for
Myers or anybody else.
exactly commercial.
So
So on and
fight
so
it from the state level, people.
Not to make it easy though.
Your congressman, you know, writing letters, emails, whatever you guys can do, because state and federal is the only way to stop it. And I don't know if you're gonna stop it at a federal level, because
Good luck.
the big cheese is really pushing for it.
Well, the problem with the federal level is the military is,
I can't get out. She had 2 times to speak.
quick like a rabbit.
She had twice to speak, so I'd like to have twice.
Good for you.
I might even get a third.
I don't think so.
I think the important thing here is we need to get behind our planning committee. We need to make sure that they enforce whatever they can when it comes to the, you know, you just choose the word, the, moratorium.
Ordinance.
The money. Put the money in escrow.
Escrow.
The money, we need to have money
Escrow accounts all the
in
time.
escrow for, during the construction period, during the building, during the operation, and for reclamation, if it comes to that, which it probably will, what I'm hearing from others. We just have to make sure that we have to use the maximum amount necessary to make it unfavorable to these companies to want to come in here. That's all I'm recommending.
Talk about that a little more.
We have talked about it.
We're gonna talk about it for another second.
Oh,
You can't make it so unreasonable.
I get it.
That it looks obvious, because you're gonna wind up in a $250,000.
We've had this discussion.
Yep, well, I just want people to know.
True.
You can make them, you know, we can require them to do some things, and we can hold their feet to the fire, we at the planning commission, for the most part, but, you can't make it look unreasonable. When you get in court, I don't know how many have been in court lately, you raise a hand? You can't look unreasonable, because if you look unreasonable, judging him, he's not gonna want to look at it lightly. You can't look unreasonable. If you get, so we're just trying to be reasonable. I think the planning commission is trying to be reasonable, have some well thought out ideas on it. And, you know, this board has some well thought out ideas on it. Whether one comes to town or not, don't know. I really hope not, but it doesn't make any difference. It's more aggravation, it's worse. And
So just a real quick question then, because are we able to then as a township, are there some protocols in place for how you determine an escrow account or what the appropriateness is of a bond for these types of buildings? So like,
bonds are no good.
okay, so whatever the escrow, like, is there some
Escrow
sort
is
of?
I got your cash in my pocket.
Yes,
I'm
but
gonna fee.
how do we determine the amount that can go in there? Can we just set like an escrow at $1 billion then, that because of the size of this
And you know what
particular
happens
project?
when you get in court if we set it at $1 billion?
I'm just wondering how, do we
Because
have,
that's
do
where
we
we'll
have,
go next.
but can we set a protocol though, right? Like, do we have some sort of protocol? If you have somebody with a big, like a gravel pit that comes in, a certain, is there like a 10%? Like, what is a standard set?
We just had escrow, we turned this up, it was $500,000, that's the most we've ever had.
Okay, but what was the size of the project? Is it based on the size of the project?
Based on the size of the project,
Okay, so then, is it a percentage then of the cost of the,
no, there's no set.
Okay.
Our engineers look it over and give us advice on.
okay, so if $500,000 was set for this local project, then $1 million for this type of project may not be necessarily exclusionary, right? Or,
You will be spending your money for our lawyer to fight it in court.
okay, well, I'm just saying, because of the size of the building, so, okay, thank you.
It's all relevant. You gotta keep it relevant, and you gotta keep it at least explainably relevant. Yes, sir.
I'm a resident of Solon Township. My name's Tim Root. My big thing with this is I'm really concerned about the water quality. find out later on down the road, because they treat the stuff with chemicals a lot of times, depending on what kind of system they got in. I mean, I got grandkids that are even closer than I do. You know, I don't want them getting cancers and having things like that happen later on down the road. Who's gonna be responsible for all those medical bills if it does? You know, I mean, there's a lot of things that make it.
You know who's gonna be responsible for them, but my point is, I got 14 grandkids,
I got 10.
and same thing applies. And none of us want our friends and relatives to be poisoned.
And that's my biggest fear, is the long-term environmental impact. Have you guys been really delving into this?
Oh, I think we have been delving into it pretty seriously.
Because I know that when you read about some of the stuff that's up north, there's a lot of cons, not pros, to these data centers.
I'm not telling you there's a bunch of pros, I'm just telling you.
And I know this is only gonna produce 50 full-time jobs.
Right?
That's not a tax base, because they're probably not gonna be in Solon Township, they're probably coming in from GR or Rockford or something like that. So we're not gonna get nothing out of this. I mean, zero.
Oh, I think
It's,
that's probably not a fair statement, but what we.
well, there'll be some construction jobs, but are they gonna be Michigan construction jobs, or are they gonna be the ones that they did, you know?
At the end of the day, they're gonna be here, so we're gonna have their money.
But, I guess that's the big thing.
You know, do we need your money? I don't know. Our township will keep on rolling just fine without it.
I just noticed, like, over the last 8 years, you know, fixing the roads. When you go by the trucks on the roads, they're from Indiana, Ohio, Illinois. You know, it's like, when they're paving 131, they weren't Michigan jobs. You know, what's gonna happen with these jobs? I mean, are they really gonna be Solon Township, 50 Solon Township people?
Oh, yeah.
Probably not.
No.
I'm guessing you don't even make 10% of them in there.
Most of the people live in Solon Township make their money in Grand Rapids, so.
I mean, I just don't see an upside. I really don't. I just hope it stops somehow.
I
I just really hope.
seriously doubt the word stop is gonna work, but, you know, we'll do what we can do. Rain it up.
I'll speak.
Do we have anybody else who wants to speak first?
With everything that's going on with John, Solon resident, with everything going on with the state and federal, all the new technologies, all the bills going in and out, why can't we put a 1-year moratorium? Why?
Nothing but common sense prevents Solon Township from extending the moratorium that's already on.
Yeah, so what, are you saying that you already are proposing an extension, or?
I'm telling you, an extension can be applied.
We know that, with the track record with Sable, you did 1 year and 1 year, right?
Pardon?
When Sable Homes came in, you did 1 year, and then you extended it another 1 year.
No.
No.
If you extend it past a year, you're gonna get a lawsuit.
Okay. So, I mean,
Pretty much a guarantee. We're hoping to get it, you know, hedging our bets, if you wanna call it that.
so from,
Moratorium on, planning commission's doing their work, committees are doing their work.
so right now, the 6 month is a safe, is what you guys feel is safe,
Yep.
rather than a year.
Exactly. Anybody else?
Yeah. So let me get this straight. Other communities have pushed back on these, and they've won. They have. It's not easy. They have won. They've kept the monsters out of their community, saved the livelihoods that they have. They've had to come in, they've had to totally replace the board. They've done what they have to do to stop these things from coming in their community. Because there's no reason for it, and I said it earlier, you've not told us why. You say you can't stop it, but they have been stopped, so where there's a will, there's a way. I'm Irish, let me tell you, where there's a will, there's a way. So, I think a one-year moratorium is the only fair way to go, whether you don't think it'll work or not, it will. And give everyone the time to breathe, do some more research, find out what's going on, can we hold them accountable? Because they should be held accountable. They destroy everything in their path, so they should be made to take care of that. But 6 months is not enough time to do that, guys, it's not. You gave a year to a housing development, come on now, what is more important? And you look at areas like in Ottawa County, my uncle just tried to buy a $400,000 house. Oops, you can't get no water, the aquifer's dry. None of the houses in this cul-de-sac can get water. That's what this thing's gonna do to us, and you know it. So not to have the bank put up to cover that when they screw us all that way, is irresponsible. We should go for as much backup as we can get, and it's gonna be a big project. And these billionaires got it coming out of their ears, and you know it. So I guess we need to get our back up and get angry and get this done. Other communities have won, and they've done whatever it takes, and that's what we need to do. Whatever it takes, get our ducks in a row, and get a little help from up here. Get some transparency, get you guys behind us, because if you're not with us, what's the other alternative?
2028?
You know? I don't know.
Anyone else for the first time?
I'll take a shot. Hi, my name is Donna Giuliani, and I am Solon Township resident. And I have only been in this township about 3 or 4 years. I was in Algoma Township before. So I have a few, what do you say, the social networking. I see what's going on in Sparta Township and so on. And they had mentioned the Solon Township, the Sparta Township, people had mentioned that they have already put some kind of stipulations in their zoning that can prevent the data centers from coming in.
No, they can't. They zoned the spot specifically for them, it's just like over again.
Is Sparta Township?
Mm-hmm.
Not Algoma Township, but
Sparta.
Town of Sparta, okay.
The old rodeo ground.
I believe you, right? Cause I couldn't believe he was saying this just a couple days ago. I didn't make a screenshot of it or anything, but that's what he said, because obviously everybody's panicking everywhere. Now, but that's just one thing that I know of. Now, when somebody else was mentioning what's going on and what you guys are trying to do in the planning commission, I'm not familiar, this is the first time I've been at a board meeting. Do you actually have other experts on the payroll right now that are helping the planning commission? Because it sounds like you guys are not the ones necessarily.
Planning commission provides us with the township with the ordinance.
Okay,
And
so.
we have a attorney that specializes in township law that comes to every planning commission meeting.
And as the attorney-in-law, so he's advising what you can and can't do? I take it?
To some extent, he provides some samples of zoning from other areas, samples of zoning that he came up with to the planning commission. They get a subcommittee going.
Okay, because I guess that would be my next question. Some have said, are there other townships that are already in the books that no data centers can be there? In the state of Michigan?
Doesn't exist to my knowledge. Exclusionary zoning is against the law in the state of Michigan zoning enabling act.
Since 2006?
Well, since
Whatever.
2006, and that part of it was on the books way before that.
Okay, And the other thing is that I would just like, as a resident, say I do not agree with having a data center here. I am a Lake resident. I am investing in my property right now as we speak, and I'm afraid there will be no water, and or it's going to be poisoned. We are going to be dried up. I mean, from everything that I've read about other states and so on. So I'm a very concerned citizen, and I do not want a data center anywhere near my house. Okay?
Thank you. Anybody that hasn't spoke would like to speak?
Yes, Daniel. The farther, Brian, 3331 Solon. The farther we get into, the farther I look into this and look at what's going on in the world, I am of the opinion this is the elite people with all the money coming in, destroying our resources. Okay, I mean, they've done it so many different ways, so many different times. And I just see them, our water, our electric, they're gonna make it so that, you know, half people can't afford, you know, their electric. We've already seen it spike twice, where it spiked once and with, consumers, and it's gonna spike again. Okay, at least that's what the plan is, we see. But I just see it as a destruction of our resources. And I don't see any good coming out of it, you know, other than a little bit of scratch you get for the township, okay? We really don't care about that. So, anyway, that's just my opinion, it's just a way to destroy our resources.
It's called self-destruction, that's what we as people do to our resources. Minus that, anyone that hasn't spoke for once? Like to speak? Yes, ma'am.
And I just have a question about whether, you're talking about going to the state level, then if we're going to a state level, can we have a meeting that's not a board meeting, that we talk about how we do that, who we should approach, or is this something that we should do ourselves without, because I don't know where you stand on the data center. I know you had talked about being neutral, but I don't know where the planning commission is or the board, or can you not have an opinion because you have to work on it? I don't know what you, no one's ever said, I'm against it, but I'm a board member. So that's my question, basically, is where do people stand? And is that something we could sit down around the table and talk about? How do we approach the state? How do we let them know in Solon Township? There's a lot of people that can't make it here, but how do we let them know that the people in Solon Township want some way to make this not happen? I understand what you are all working on this. You've got a lot of constraints, but is there something that could help us go to the state and say, how do we address this?
If you're gonna go to the state and get all your state representative, a lot of people should get all of your state rep and grind the axe till it's flat.
So you don't have to, if you were sitting with us
You don't
and,
have to include us.
pardon me?
You don't have to include us. I call state rep fairly regular to grind axes that are of our township.
But I guess my question is, if you were sitting with us and someone said, do you want the data center, would you be able to have your own opinion then?
It doesn't make any difference if we want it or not. We're working on zoning now to provide a place for them, because that's the law. It doesn't make any difference whether we want them or not. I didn't need a minor.
Right.
One of the things I definitely don't need in my life is
planning.gov, go to that website, and it'll give you all the information, give you all your representatives, and their phone numbers, and their emails, and you can contact them.
I get your state rep number here, too, if you want some contact information, you're looking for that.
And, no, I don't want a data center either.
Karen Larry says, thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Vicki Babcock, I wasn't gonna speak, but I want to, let everybody know that though the township cannot exclude data centers in the
Get talking to me,
township.
Vicki.
Okay, though they cannot exclude the data centers in the township, the planning commission is doing